Hey folks, welcome to RevBTB Does It, and today what are we doing? We are doing pork chop pinwheels. What are pork chop pinwheels? Well, stick around and find out. Basically, we're going to be making an individually serving sized pork roll, for the lack of a better way of saying it, and it's going to end up looking like a pinwheel. So let's get to cooking. Okay, so to start our recipe today for the pork pinwheels, um, we have our pork chops here. Now I had 4 boneless and 2 bone-in, so I've taken the bones off of 2 of the chops and saved aside my scraps. I'm actually going to leave these to roast, to like raise the finished rolls off the pan for roasting when it comes to that. But now that I've got them butterflied open, I am going to pound them down to thin them out a little bit and make it easier to roll. And then I've got my stuffing already all mixed up here and ready to rock and roll. I'm just cooling that off so that it's going to be easier when I do have to make the pinwheels out of these. And I do not have a pounding mallet, so I am going to be using a heavy fry pan for that. And so to spare you all that noise and confusion and whatnot, I am going to come back after that's done, and I will show you what I've done for that once it's to that process. But basically, I'm just going to be taking a fry pan, sandwiching one of these suckers between 2 sheets of plastic wrap and pounding the crap out of it. So we'll come back after I've gotten that all done. So when it's time to roll up these beautiful little pork choppies, you can see that. Okay, so basically now I've got my chops all butterflied and flattened out. And now I am making the rolls, and I've got to make the rolls up and then refrigerate them for a slight amount of time. I think I'm going to probably refrigerate them for like 2 hours, and then I'm going to take them chilled and fry them in the pan. Basically, I'm going to shock them to keep their juices inside of them, and then at that point in time, we will go ahead and start the baking process right after I get done with the frying part. But I'm definitely going to put these in there. I want to leave them in the refrigerator for a couple of hours, but I wanted to show you the process of how I make the rolls, obviously, so that you can see what that is like. But this is what I'm trying to achieve, okay? I'm making little pork rolls. See how that's all rolled up and in plastic and whatnot? And I'm just putting them in this little container here. So I'm going to take my chop and I'm going to flatten, I'm going to find a good one here. There we go. That's a nice one. All right, I'm going to put it butterflied, sliced side down, you know what I mean? Like that. I've got my spices that I showed you earlier, my garlic powder, my onion powder. I've got salt, pepper, and Mrs. Dash. And I've just created like a little mix of it in this little bowl here. And I'm going to sprinkle that over the top of this pork chop. This is actually going to be the inside. So this has got a little bit of also that chopped onion you can see in there too, okay? So that's got the chopped onion in there. And just for S&Gs, I put some of that chopped onion inside my water for the stuffing to give that a little bit more. I wanted a little bit more of an oniony flavor. And now I'm taking my spinach. And what I'm doing is I'm actually removing, whoops, moved you around a little bit there, but I'm taking the stems off. So I don't want the big sticky stems to go in there. So those will just go outside to the birds. But I'm just laying my spinach in here as flat as I can get it. So like I said, I'm just taking the stems off as I go. And the smaller the leaf, the more tender the leaf. So it will roll better. So I'm trying to use up the smaller leaves. It doesn't really matter because it's going to come, wilt down a little bit anyway. And it's more for color than anything. It's going to add some flavor to it, obviously, because it's, a vegetable and it's going to add nutrient value. But you don't have to go all the way down. You're going to go about 2/3 of the way down the chop. with your spinach, because you're going to find that as you roll, some of your filling is going to come back at you, and that's what the plastic wrap is also going to help you be able to achieve, is that nice roll, and we'll get it tight looking. All right, I'm going to put that stuff back in the bag there, and move that out of the way here. And now I'm just going to fork some of this filling, this stuffing onto here. We're not using a lot of it. It's just really so that you can see a different color in the roll, as well as add a layer of flavor and, a little bit of bulk to it. It also will help make it taste yummy. So, whoop, I got a little leafy in there from the last one. And you're going to notice that they're going to, like, as you roll, so I'm patting this down. I'm going to try to get it as flat as I can. And it did cool off. This is the reason why I wanted it to cool off, is so that I could facilitate the roll better. So I'm starting the side closest to me where I started the spinach. Making sure I got that. Yep, okay. So basically, I'm just going to start rolling it up. But I'm using this plastic wrap to my advantage here, okay? And I'm going to fold up the plastic wrap as soon as I can after getting that first little flip in, because I'm trying to kind of tuck it like a burrito. And I want to try to keep all of the good stuff inside there, but I also want to have a nice roll pattern when I cut it open to be able to serve it. Now you see how I have that, it's pushing it forward towards the end there. That's all right. I've got this plastic wrap to help me keep it tight. So there it is. Now I'm just going to take this excess and stuff it back in the end here. And I want to keep my ends of my plastic wrap open so that I can, like I said, stuff it back in here. But we're going to go just like that and fold this over the top. And now we kind of have a little sausage roll. And now I'm just going to tuck this back in here and do a little twisty action to keep it in. Okay, now this is good saran wrap. It's called Stretch Tight, and it's microwave safe, and it keeps food fresher longer. It says it's got greater strength and tighter cling, and I like it actually better than any other name brand that I have seen. So I'm actually going to twisty, and now I'm going to roll all of that up as tight as I can get it, just like that. And there's my roll that I'm going to chill. So that's just going to go in my little case here. And now I have yet another one to be able to go into the fridge. Now I'm going to just do that to the rest of mine. I'm not going to make you sit here and watch that. And we'll come back when it's time to fry. Okay, it's time for frying. So I have my rolls out here. They've been in the refrigerator for a good couple hours. I do have toothpicks in case they decide to start coming undone. I can stab them to keep them closed. I've got my butter and oil in a pan here ready to rock and roll, and I'm getting it all hot. And I have my pan laid out here with my bones so that I can add some extra flavor that I'm going to get through after the cooking, and the carrots that I'm going to set these on top of to kind of raise them up out of the juices that may develop. Because I really want them to roast on their own. So I'm going to set you guys down over here, and we're going to get to frying these suckers up. So this is actually my very first time making these, so you guys are gonna come along for the ride with me. So I gotta unwrap these things and see what we can do. I got my tongs ready and waiting, and here we go. I'm gonna start with frying it on the seam side down so that hopefully that seals it up. So I'm gonna just stick them right in there, one at a time. Try to get a good sear on them all. And as soon as the outside has a good sear on them, I'm just gonna put them in that pan. I'm really trying to seal in the juices of the pork chop, because pork is juicy, but it's all in how you cook it. And so this right here is going to help keep all of those juices inside, okay? So as you can see, putting it seam side down. And they are holding their shape since I did refrigerate them pretty good after the pounding and after the stuffing. So I may have to start rolling that one after a few minutes here. They're kind of hard to get undone. It's like unwrapping stuff here. So there's this one. Let's take a look. It's not freeing itself from the pan, and that's kind of like a good indication of when it might be ready, is when it's actually unsticking itself. So we'll keep unwrapping and putting more in as we go. They're really looking good though. My son was saying how he thought that the stuffing alone made it smell really, really good. Nothing was even cooking yet, so this is going to make it smell even better in here. Although that stuffing smell is probably gone now. Like that. Got one more left here. And I would cover this, but I'm trying not to steam them so much. You know what I mean? I should turn my heat back. I think I'm burning my butter. Okay, and there's not a lot of fat in here, so I'm going to take a piece of my fat that I had reserved and put that in there and help it a little bit. Let's see what we're looking like. See, that's what we're looking for. Use my fingers, but that's sometimes what it takes. Look at that fat piece in there. Oh, that one turned over nice. Okay. We're going to get some nice bits on the pan here for our gravy. See what I'm talking about there? Look at that. Yay! And they're holding together really, really well, so I'm pleased with that. Okay. They're looking really, really good here, guys. I'm going to bring you over so you can sort of see the tops of the ones that I've already rolled over. Like I said, I'm just trying to get some good color on some of the sides of this before I stick it in to bake it the rest of the way. Because I want to have that good sear on these to make sure that it holds in the juices while it's baking. I'm pleased that they're holding together. Like I said, I have toothpicks here in case they decide they want to unfurl. But they're looking delicious, and we're going to get them into the oven after they have been fried a little bit. And I'll put them into a 375 degree oven to cook the rest of the way. And I suppose we'll be back when that is all done and you can see the finished product. All right, so I've got these guys in there. I've had them in there at 375 for just about 40 minutes, just to make sure they're done in the middle. Um, and I've deglazed my pan. What you're seeing there is like a little bit of the stuffing that had fallen out while I was frying, but so that's what my pan looks like for my gravy. And I will take any of the leftover juices from this pan if there is anything in there. I've already drained it one time because I didn't want to steam this. I wanted it to bake. Um, and I've got it up on the carrots, so those are just about done. I'm going to check those for doneness right now. And as you can see, I did put those bones in there to help with the flavoring. These carrots could use a little bit more cooking, but that's okay. That's neither here nor there. I may not serve those with dinner tonight, and I may end up just freezing those and using them in some sort of roast thing later, or stock or something like that. But because I have different vegetables that I'm going to be using for this tonight. So anyway, so these are what they look like as they're coming out of the oven. And I'm going to cut into one and see what it looks like in the middle. And I will bring it back in a video in just a second to show you that. Okay, so I've got them out of the oven. There's my extra stuffing. I made dinner rolls. That's some leftover cranberry sauce from another dinner that we'd had. There's my gravy that I made with our drippings, which I forgot to show you that process, but it's just a packet of gravy with the drippings that I've made. This is the bag of veg that we're going to have tonight with it, and there are the rolls. I put the bones on the side in case one of the boys wants to gnaw on it. But anyway, so this is our spread. And this is what it looks like when it's all cooked. So we'll end up putting some gravy on top of these or on the potatoes or whatever. And this is our pork pinwheels. Well, they tasted delicious. The gravy was on point. I try to stay away from the packet gravy, but I know pork doesn't always give off enough juice, especially if it's a pork chop. So I wanted to make sure I had the gravy for that. And everything else was really tasty, and I would make them again. My kids liked them, so they'd have them again. And so, yeah. I think that was a success. So if you enjoy making some different stuff, try these pinwheel pork chops. They look great and they taste great too. And it's just fun to have something that looks fancy for regular dinner every once in a while. And yeah, so if you like this video, please hit that thumbs up button. And if you want to see more of what I'm doing, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. And I hope to see you back here again soon. Have a great night.